What's the good word, y'all? It's your boy DKB here. So, as promised, we're covering again one of our preseason opponents, this time the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, taking a look at some of their guys who were expected to get cut and who will potentially be good fits for the New York Jets as either bottom tier 53-man roster players or guys that could do a stint on the practice squad and hopefully develop into something for us down the line. So I have a shorter list of players this time. Running back Keyshawn Vaughn, wide receiver David Moore, tight end David Wells, offensive tackle Justin School, inside offensive lineman John Molkin, DT DeAndre Sinnat, edge Cam Gill, a linebacker in KJ Britt, a cornerback in D Delaney, and a safety in Nolan Turner. So for this particular list, I only have 3 players that I kind of wanted to chat about and what could potentially be a decent match for the New York Jets down the line. So we're going to kick it off with the tackle Justin School. So expect any of these lists, if you see anybody else covering information like this, expect at least a dart throw at somebody on the offensive line position, and most likely at the tackle spots, right? Things are already shaky with the starters, but we already have a rookie in Carter Warren who hasn't shown the ability to do much, at least in year one, so having a red shirt here is perfect. Max Mitchell maybe taking a step back. Maybe we're just seeing shades of what we should still be expecting. He's only heading into year 2. We did get some adequate play out of him last year, but adequate is probably the ceiling of what you would have expected from Max Mitchell, right? I know a lot of us hyped up what he did last year, but to be honest, average is probably the best highlight that you can place on what he did last year, coming in when he wasn't really expected to whatsoever. So outside of that, things are shaky. Billy Turner, we know how disastrous he's turning out to be for the New York Jets, and then there really isn't a whole lot to be excited about outside of that, either Greg Sinnat kind of being thrown around. So with Justin School, we're talking about a draft pick in 2019 for the Bucs. He has experience at left tackle. Now, he only got 16 snaps when they graded him, but he did get a 70.5. I think Mekhi Becton, before he had went out, he had like a low 40, low 60. Can't remember the exact number, but, PFF isn't the end-all, be-all, but it's so hard, again, with offensive linemen to judge how really good they actually are in a limited sample size if you're not, going out there and checking out film. So for what it's worth. Other than that, though, he at least was a full-time starter at tackle. Got a respectable grade of a 62.3 according to PFF when he did, and he did this over 545 pass block snaps his rookie year, or 545 snaps overall, in his rookie year. So you're not talking about a guy that got, stashed and he wasn't able to contribute whatsoever. Right out of the gate, he was able to go in and do a decent job, much like kind of a Max Mitchell for us. So from a guy that doesn't have any impressive physical tools to his name per se, I think this is at least a solid dart throw at a guy that has decent experience. He's proven that he's not, that he is an NFL tackle. Not to say that he's going to be, league-wide average or even above average or a superstar, but there still is a lot to say for somebody that can come in and do backups, starting spot duty for players either when they need a breather or in the event that you do get some kind of minor or major injury, so that you don't have to completely revamp or cave for a free agent player that you may not want to. And then, of course, he comes with the added benefit of having some interior play. So we did get to see him at right guard for 100 snaps his rookie year as well. Now, when we take a look at the safety room, we feel excited, right? We have Trey Dean. He's leading the league in tackles. He's shown a lot on tape in terms of his ability to be around the ball and make plays. Ashton Davis, he's been coming on strong to try to fight off Trey Dean. Obviously, we've been holding out Tony Adams because we feel extremely comfortable with what he's going to be as a starter for the Jets. And then you have Adrian Amos, the vet, and you have, other UDFAs, Marquise Waters out there, among some other names. I feel like I'm forgetting a key one, but nonetheless, it never hurts to continue to try to add some pieces, and having a pretty athletic or at least a speedy guy on the back end definitely helps. So with Nolan Turner, you are getting a sub 440 guy in the 40-yard dash. came undrafted in 2022, but he was able to go out there and earn a way onto his 53 roster, suited up for 5 games. So almost like a version of Tony Adams, right? But, there wasn't a strong enough look for him to be on there, and obviously he's potentially looking at being cut here for a reason. But I take a look at his background. Seems like something Joe Douglas would love. A team captain for Clemson. He has the production in college at a elite school. 7 interceptions, had 20 pass deflections to add to it as well. So this is one of those guys that you feel like, much like with a Tony Adams, had a lot of physical traits to love. The New York Jets, to be honest, we kind of made out pretty well. We let him marinate for the majority of that first year, and then the last couple games we saw he looks great, and ever since the offseason, he's looked like he could be an elite safety. Grandiose talk here, because we haven't seen anything in a true NFL game, but for what it's worth, he's been crushing it at practices. So a guy like Nolan Turner could fit right in with that hard-nosed mentality of trying to steal a roster spot from somebody. And then for the last dart throw here, realistically, probably defensive tackle is the other side of the trenches, where a lot of people will say we need to make sure that we have some guys in the pipeline that can come in case injuries start besieging our defensive line. And DeAndre Sinnat, the nose tackle, much like we talked about with the Panthers, right? He's that more classic big body throwback that we're really missing on this defensive line. Not that it's a staple, but it helps to have a bigger guy like that, especially when you could potentially be weak or susceptible to running, rushing attacks where they game plan to try to hit you right up the middle. And you can't always count on Quinnen Williams to stop 100% of those plays. So his partner in crime definitely deserves to have a strong suit in his area. And, DeAndre Sinnat, he's not overwhelmingly elite in terms of being a run defender, had a 66.6 grade from PFF across a little over 100 snaps specifically against the run. But again, dart throws here. We're talking about, practice squad guys for the most part. So it would help. Maybe also having Al Woods in the building, as a practice squad guy, he can learn from him from afar without necessarily being overwhelmed and, wouldn't necessarily need to contribute whatsoever right out of the gate. Maybe he can become a Tanzo Smart, ball out in a couple preseasons, and hopefully find his way onto a 53. So nonetheless, those would be my 3 guys to pay attention to if names start coming across the waiver wire for us whatsoever. Let me know if there's any other names that interest you on this list, or what you thought about the 3 guys that I kind of broke down for you, high level, of course, over here. And I'll catch you guys again. Peace.